Have you ever wondered what truly happens to the soul in the moments, hours, and days after death? Is it a gentle transition, a journey through familiar realms, or something far more profound than we can imagine? Across countless cultures and spiritual traditions, there's one recurring truth. The first 9 days after death are unlike anything the soul has ever experienced. These days are a bridge, a sacred transition between worlds where the soul detaches from the physical and begins its journey into the unknown. What happens during this time holds the key to understanding life, death, and the eternal bond we share with those who've passed. But here's the thing, they don't want you to know the depth of this mystery. Because when you understand it, you'll never look at death the same way again. Picture this. The soul, newly freed from the body, is not immediately gone from the world it once inhabited. In those first moments it often lingers, observing its surroundings, watching loved ones, and feeling the ripple of emotions left in its wake. Imagine the profound shift as the soul realizes it is no longer bound by the physical body, yet still tethered by the energy of its life and the connections it formed. This is the moment of transition, a time filled with both clarity and curiosity. Spiritual texts and traditions, from ancient Tibetan writings to modern near-death experiences, tell us that the soul's journey begins here, in this delicate space where time and space dissolve and awareness expands. But here's what makes these first 9 days so significant. During this time, the soul experiences a reflection, a review of its life, not as a judgment, but as a chance to witness its own story from a higher perspective. The moments of love, the lessons learned, the opportunities missed, they all come into focus. It's said that the soul doesn't just see these events, it feels them, relives them. Imagine the soul revisiting a moment of kindness, not just as an observer, but as both the giver and the receiver of that kindness. In this state, the soul understands the ripple effect of every thought, every action, and every intention it carried in life. But it's not only the past that holds the soul's attention. The emotions of those left behind play a powerful role in this journey. When loved ones grieve deeply or hold on to unresolved pain, it can create an energetic pull that affects the soul's ability to transition peacefully. In contrast, when loved ones send prayers, love, and intention, they create a bridge of light that guides the soul toward clarity and release. This is why rituals and traditions across the world emphasize honoring the departed during this sacred period. It's not just about closure for the living, it's about providing support for the soul as it navigates this profound journey. As the soul moves through these early stages, it's not alone. Many traditions speak of spiritual guides, ancestors, or loved ones who have passed before, stepping forward to assist in the transition. These guides act as beacons, offering comfort and direction as the soul adjusts to its new state of existence. Imagine the moment when a soul, unsure of where to go or what lies ahead, feels the familiar presence of a loved one who has been waiting on the other side. This connection serves as a reminder that the journey is not one of isolation but of reunion and continuation. In the days that follow, the soul begins to release its attachment to the physical world. This detachment isn't about forgetting or losing connection, it's about embracing a greater reality. The soul comes to understand that the physical body was only a vessel, a temporary home for its eternal essence. With this understanding comes a profound sense of freedom. As the soul shifts its focus from the material to the spiritual, it begins to merge with the infinite, reconnecting with the universal energy that unites all things. But even as the soul transitions, it remains connected to the living in ways that are both subtle and powerful. Have you ever felt the presence of a loved one who has passed, a sudden warmth, a familiar scent, or a sense of being watched over? These moments aren't coincidences. They're glimpses of the unbroken bond between the physical and the spiritual. The soul, though no longer in the body, continues to send signs, offering comfort and reassurance to those it left behind. As the 9th day approaches, the soul reaches a point of final release. It has revisited its life, felt the love and support of its guides, and begun to detach from earthly ties. This is the moment of surrender, where the soul fully embraces its new state of being. It is not an ending but a transformation, a merging with the eternal flow of existence. For the living, this period is a reminder of the impermanence of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. It's an invitation to live with intention, knowing that the bonds we create in life ripple far beyond the physical. So, what does this journey mean for you? It's a reminder that death is not the end. It's a transition, a continuation of the soul's eternal story. It's an opportunity to honor those who have passed, to send them love and peace as they navigate their journey. And it's a call to reflect on your own life, to ask yourself, what legacy am I leaving? What energy am I contributing to the world? Because just as the soul carries its lessons forward, so too do we carry the energy of our choices into every moment. The first 9 days after death are a sacred window not just for the departed but for the living. They remind us of the profound connection between all beings, the impermanence of the physical and the eternal nature of the soul. And as you consider this journey, ask yourself, how can I honor the souls of those who have passed? How can I bring peace and intention to their transition? And most importantly, how can I live a life that resonates with the truth of who I am, a soul on an infinite journey, connected to all that is? As the soul ventures further into its journey, the unfolding of these 9 days becomes even more profound. During this time, the soul begins to transcend its earthly limitations, shedding the layers of identity, ego, and attachment that defined its physical existence. It's said that this process is not immediate but gradual, allowing the soul to come to terms with its transition and recognize its true nature as an eternal being. One of the most fascinating aspects of this period is the soul's ability to observe the world it has left behind. In many spiritual traditions, it's believed that the soul remains close to the physical realm during the first few days, witnessing the events that follow its departure. This is often described as a time of heightened awareness, where the soul can perceive not only the actions but also the emotions and intentions of those it left behind. Imagine for a moment the soul watching over its loved ones, feeling their grief, their love, and their prayers. It's as if the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds becomes thinner, allowing a flow of energy and emotion in both directions. This connection is why the energy of the living is so significant during these 9 days. When we grieve deeply, holding on to pain and regret, that energy can create a tether, making it harder for the soul to transition fully. On the other hand, when we send love, forgiveness, and peace, we create a supportive environment that helps the soul move forward with clarity. It's not about suppressing grief, it's about transforming it into a gift of love and intention. Think of it as lighting a lantern on a dark path, guiding the soul toward its next destination. During this time, the soul often begins a process of reflection. This is more than a simple review, it's an immersive experience where the soul revisits key moments of its life, not as a bystander but as an active participant. It feels the impact of its choices, both the joy it created and the pain it caused. This isn't a punishment or judgment, it's an opportunity for growth and understanding. Imagine the soul reliving a moment of kindness, feeling the ripple of that act as it touched others' lives. Then, imagine it revisiting a moment of conflict or regret, gaining a new perspective on what could have been done differently. This life review is one of the most sacred aspects of the soul's journey, offering a chance to reconcile, learn, and evolve. It's during this phase that the soul also encounters the presence of spiritual guides. These guides can take many forms: ancestors, loved ones who have passed, or even beings of light that transcend earthly identities. They are there to provide comfort, wisdom, and direction, helping the soul navigate this unfamiliar terrain. In many traditions, these guides are seen as protectors, ensuring that the soul doesn't become lost or overwhelmed. Their presence is a reminder that the journey is not one of isolation, but of connection and support. These guides often help the soul understand the lessons of its life, offering clarity about its purpose and the meaning behind its experiences. They may also prepare the soul for the next stage of its journey, whether that's reincarnation, ascension, or merging with a higher consciousness. This guidance is deeply personal, tailored to the soul's unique path, and the spiritual framework it resonates with. It's a moment of profound realization, where the soul begins to see its place in the vast, interconnected web of existence. But even as the soul moves forward, it remains deeply connected to the living. Have you ever experienced an inexplicable sense of peace after the passing of a loved one, as if they were reassuring you from beyond? Or perhaps you've noticed signs, a song, a dream, or a sudden feeling of their presence. These aren't coincidences. They're the soul's way of reaching out, offering comfort and reminding you that the bond you share is unbroken. During the first 9 days, these signs are especially common, as the soul's connection to the physical world is still strong. This connection is a two-way street. Just as the soul reaches out to the living, we have the ability to send energy and intention to the departed. Prayers, rituals, and moments of quiet reflection create a bridge, allowing love and support to flow between worlds. In many cultures, this is why ceremonies and offerings are performed during this period, to honor the soul and provide it with the energy it needs to transition peacefully. Whether it's lighting a candle, saying a prayer, or simply holding the soul in your thoughts, these acts carry profound significance. As the soul approaches the final days of this sacred period, it begins to release its attachment to the physical plane. This isn't a loss but a liberation, a shedding of the earthly identity to embrace a greater spiritual reality. The soul starts to see life not as a series of disconnected events but as a tapestry, woven with purpose and meaning. It recognizes the lessons it has learned, the connections it has made, and the impact it has had, and with this understanding comes a profound sense of peace. The 9th day marks a pivotal moment in this journey. It's often seen as the soul's final release from earthly ties, a transition into a state of pure being. This doesn't mean the soul forgets its life or the people it loved. On the contrary, it carries those connections forward, but in a way that is free from the limitations of time, space, and form. It becomes part of the eternal flow of energy, yet it remains accessible to those who seek it with love and intention. For the living, this period is a time of reflection and transformation as well. It invites us to confront our own relationship with impermanence, to honor the lives of those who have passed, and to embrace the sacredness of our own journey. It reminds us that life is fleeting, but the love and energy we create endure far beyond the physical. It's a call to live fully, to cherish our connections, and to approach each moment with gratitude. The journey of the soul in these 9 days is a profound reminder of the interconnectedness of all existence. It teaches us that death is not an end but a transformation, a continuation of the soul's eternal story. It invites us to look beyond the veil, to see life and death not as opposites, but as two sides of the same infinite cycle. And it reminds us that even in the face of loss, love is the thread that binds us unbroken and everlasting. As the soul approaches the final days of its 9-day journey, it enters a state of profound reflection and preparation. These last moments are often described as a transition from observation to transcendence. The soul, having revisited its life, reconnected with loved ones, and received guidance from spiritual entities, now begins to release its final attachments. This is the stage where the physical world fades into the background, and the soul's true nature as an eternal being comes into full focus. Imagine for a moment the soul standing at the threshold of two worlds. On one side lies the familiarity of its earthly life, the people it loved, the lessons it learned, the experiences that shaped it. On the other side lies the unknown, an infinite expanse of possibilities and existence beyond form. This is not a moment of fear but of surrender, as the soul comes to understand that the ties it once clung to were never truly lost but transformed into something eternal. The energy of love, connection, and intention carries forward, unbound by time or space. But what does this detachment look like for the soul? Spiritual traditions often describe it as a shedding of layers, much like a snake shedding its skin. These layers are the constructs of the physical world, ego, identity, and the illusions of separation. As these layers fall away, the soul begins to resonate more deeply with the universal energy that connects all things. This process is not about losing oneself, but about merging with a greater whole, embracing the infinite while retaining the essence of individuality. In this state, the soul experiences a profound sense of clarity. It sees its earthly life not as a series of random events, but as a carefully orchestrated journey of growth and evolution. The soul understands the interconnectedness of every choice, every relationship, and every moment. It recognizes the ripple effect of its actions, how even the smallest acts of kindness or courage created waves that extended far beyond its awareness. This understanding brings a sense of peace, as the soul realizes that nothing was ever truly wasted or meaningless. During these final days, the presence of spiritual guides often becomes even more prominent. These guides, whether they are ancestors, loved ones, or higher beings, serve as companions, helping the soul navigate this final stage of transition. They provide reassurance, reminding the soul that it is not alone, even as it steps into the unknown. In some traditions, these guides are seen as gatekeepers, standing at the threshold of the next realm to welcome the soul and guide it to its next destination. This is also a time when the bond between the soul and the living is most powerful. Many people report feeling an intense sense of connection to a loved one who has recently passed during this period. They might experience vivid dreams, receive signs, or feel an overwhelming presence that brings comfort and closure. These experiences are not coincidences. They are the soul's way of reaching out, offering reassurance and love as it prepares to move on. For those who are grieving, these moments can be a source of profound healing, a reminder that the connection they share with the departed is unbroken. In cultures around the world, rituals and practices during this period are deeply significant. These ceremonies are not just for the living, they are believed to provide guidance and support for the soul as well. For example, in Tibetan Buddhism, the practice of reading the Bardo Thorolo, or the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is meant to guide the soul through the intermediate state between life and rebirth. The prayers and recitations act as a map, offering instructions and encouragement to the soul as it navigates this sacred journey. Similarly, in Hindu tradition, rituals like Shraddha are performed to honor the departed and provide them with the energy needed to continue their journey. These rituals often include offerings, prayers, and acts of charity, symbolizing the living's intention to support the soul's transition. In Christianity, prayers for the departed are common, with the belief that these prayers can bring peace and rest to the soul. Across cultures, the message is the same. The energy of love and intention has the power to reach across the veil, providing comfort and clarity to the soul as it moves forward. As the 9th day arrives, the soul reaches a moment of culmination. This is the point of final release, where it fully detaches from the earthly plane and embraces its next phase of existence. For some traditions, this means entering a state of rest, or merging with divine consciousness. For others, it signifies the preparation for rebirth or reincarnation. Regardless of the specific belief system, the common thread is one of transformation, a movement from the finite to the infinite, from the known to the unknown. But what does this mean for those of us who are still living? The soul's journey during these 9 days is not just a story about the departed. It's a mirror, reflecting profound truths about life itself. It reminds us that every moment matters, that every connection we make leaves an imprint, and that the energy we carry forward has the power to shape the world in ways we may never fully understand. This journey also invites us to reflect on our own relationship with impermanence. In a world that often encourages us to avoid thinking about death, the soul's journey offers a different perspective. It shows us that death is not an ending, but a transition, a continuation of the soul's eternal story. It challenges us to live with intention, to cherish the people we love, and to approach each day with gratitude for the gift of existence. For those who are grieving, the soul's journey during these 9 days can be a source of comfort and healing. It reminds us that our loved ones are not truly gone, they are simply in a different state of being. The love and connection we share with them remain, transcending the boundaries of life and death. And in honoring their journey, we find a way to honor our own, embracing the sacredness of life and the mystery of what lies beyond. So, as we reflect on what happens to the soul in the first 9 days after death, let us also reflect on what this journey teaches us about how we live. Let us ask ourselves, how can we create a legacy of love and kindness that ripples beyond our time on earth? How can we support those who have passed, sending them love and intention as they continue their journey. And how can we embrace the impermanence of life, not with fear but with gratitude and wonder for the infinite possibilities it holds? As the soul completes its journey through the first 9 days after death, it reaches a profound state of peace and release. The bonds of earthly existence, once so tightly held, have been transformed into something eternal. Connections that no longer bind but instead uplift and illuminate. This transition marks not an ending but a new beginning, a continuation of the soul's eternal story. In these final moments of the 9-day period, the soul fully detaches from the physical world, embracing its new state of being. It no longer carries the weight of its earthly identity, but it doesn't lose the essence of who it is. The lessons learned, the love shared, and the energy cultivated throughout its life become part of the soul's eternal presence. These elements are carried forward, not as burdens, but as gifts, shaping the soul's journey in the infinite realms beyond. For many spiritual traditions, this final stage is one of ascension or merging with a higher consciousness. In Hindu and Buddhist teachings, the soul may move closer to enlightenment, entering a state of unity with the divine. In other belief systems, it may prepare for reincarnation, taking with it the wisdom and growth from its previous life. And in some philosophies, the soul simply returns to the vast, interconnected energy of the universe, where it rests and regenerates until its next chapter unfolds. Whatever the destination, the journey is marked by a profound sense of purpose and peace. But what does this transformation mean for those who remain in the physical world? The soul's release is not a loss but a reminder. It teaches us that life is a fleeting yet beautiful gift, one meant to be lived fully and intentionally. The 9-day journey of the soul invites us to reflect on our own lives, to consider the legacy we are creating and the energy we are leaving behind. It reminds us that every thought, every action, every moment matters, not just for ourselves, but for the interconnected web of existence we all share. For those grieving the loss of a loved one, this period can be a time of healing and connection. The knowledge that the soul is transitioning, guided by love and supported by spiritual forces, brings comfort. It reassures us that our prayers, intentions, and acts of remembrance are not in vain. They create a bridge, a thread of light that connects us to the departed and provides them with the energy they need to move forward. And in this connection we find a sense of peace, knowing that love transcends the boundaries of life and death. The first 9 days after death also teach us about the importance of letting go. Just as the soul releases its attachments to the physical world, we too are invited to release our attachment to the pain of loss. This doesn't mean forgetting or moving on. It means transforming our grief into love, our sadness into gratitude. It means honoring the memory of our loved ones by living in a way that reflects the love and lessons they brought into our lives. When we do this, we not only support the soul's journey, but we also begin to heal our own. This understanding of the soul's journey has been echoed across cultures and spiritual traditions for centuries. From the prayers of the Tibetan monks to the rituals of Hindu families, from the candlelit vigils of Christian faiths to the quiet meditations of seekers worldwide, the message is clear. Death is not the end. It is a transformation, a passage into a greater reality that connects us all. These practices remind us that we are part of something vast, something eternal, and that our lives, however brief, are threads in a tapestry that spans infinity. As we bring this exploration to a close, let us reflect on the lessons of the soul's journey during these 9 sacred days. It teaches us to live with intention, to cherish the moments we have, and to honor the connections we share. It reminds us that love is the most powerful force in existence, one that transcends time, space, and even death. And it calls us to embrace the mystery of life, to find beauty in its impermanence, and to trust in the eternal nature of the soul. So, as you think about your own life and the loved ones you've lost, ask yourself, what energy am I carrying forward? How can I honor the lives of those who have passed? And how can I live in a way that reflects the truth of who I am, a soul on an infinite journey, connected to all that is? These are not just questions, they are invitations to live more deeply, more authentically, and more aligned with the eternal essence within you. The soul's journey doesn't end after these 9 days. It continues, expanding, evolving, and contributing to the infinite flow of existence. And in the same way, your journey continues. Every day, every moment is an opportunity to create, to grow, and to love. The mystery of what lies beyond is not something to fear. It's something to embrace. A reminder that life and death are not opposites, but two sides of the same eternal cycle. This is your invitation to live fully, to honor the sacredness of your journey, and to trust that the bonds you create in life are never truly broken. The soul's path is one of transformation, and so is yours. Let this understanding bring you peace, purpose, and a deeper connection to the infinite truth of existence.